the other big story this week, and of course the conclave to choose the next pope, it begins tomorrow.
The final preparations for the conclave this week.
Today, workers installed those famous red curtains. A wooden floor has been brought in.
The stove used to burn the ballots has been installed.
And desks for the cardinals to sit at.
But this is master bedroom week, isn't it?
No, sorry, it is Sistine Chapel week.
But to help us make sense of the conclave, it's time to welcome our special guest.
Say hello to Santo Cilauro.
This is Santo Cilauro. Santo Cilauro. People have arrived for to cheer me from near and far.
Would you please welcome Santo Cilauro? Lovely to see you.
Good to see you.
Lovely to see you.
What a look you've got going on.
Oh, it's a special occasion, so there you go. In fact, I've just realised the only time you guys have ever had me on this show was for the death of Silvio Berlusconi and the death of a pope. That's slightly niche area.
And when did Matt Preston pass away?
I got all the stains off. Of course, Berlusconi and Pope Francis were very different kind of people. One was known for his wild bunga parties, and the other for his outrageous comments in Italian Parliament as Prime Minister. So here I am, and I'm so excited to be here, as you can see.
We'll whip through it because you've got a murder on the Orient Express to investigate for this. But it is great to have you, Santo. It is an absolute thrill for us. And in this week especially, because you are a very keen observer of the Pope and the Vatican.
I actually am. Most of Italy know me as Signor Cilauro, but my Vatican friends simply call me Holy See. That's what they call me, the Holy See. And I'm excited because this time tomorrow night is the Vatican's Night of Nights. It's the time for the Elezione del Nuovo Papa, the election of the new Pope. So it actually is an exciting time for
This is your Met Gala, isn't it, Santo?
I love this.
We had just farewelled Pope Francis. He was considered a good pope. You're a student of history. Have they all been good? I haven't really been keeping across it.
I think the short answer is no, Mel. There's a long list of bad apples, but of all the colourful pontiffs, I think my favourite is this guy here. It's Pope Stephen VI. Now, he was around in the late 800s. Now, he is best known for putting his dead predecessor, Pope Formosus, on trial. And when I mean on trial, I don't mean symbolically. He literally dug up the rotting corpse of the former Pope. He died months before. He redressed him in papal robes. He placed him on the papal throne to face trial and ultimately found him guilty.
Really?
So as a punishment, they cut off his 3 blessing fingers.
Oh, no.
They stripped him of his vestments. They dressed him up as a pauper, and then they threw him into a shallow grave. But that's not the end of it, because Pope Stephen, he appealed the verdict, complaining that the punishment was too light.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they dug up the corpse again, and they did. They threw it into the Tiber River, which I believe is the first version of Dunk Tank.
Oh, really? It was the first Dunk Tank.
But you know, believe it or not, there was a happy ending.
Good.
The following year, Stephen himself was overthrown. He was stripped of his title and strangled to death. That's how it finished. So, and they even tried to stab him with the election needle.
Oh, really? That is unbelievable.
Oh,
my goodness.
But that actually was Stephen VI.
So, of course, when a pope is chosen, they must pick their papal name. That's a big part of the ceremony.
They do, yep.
Have you got any favourite pope names?
I love the names of the early popes. So, you know, if you go back to the 2nd century AD, you'll find there was a Pope Hygienist.
Really? Pope Hygienist?
The first man to change water into hand sanitizer.
Really? That's good.
He actually was canonised. He was a saint, the Saint Hygienist. So he was famous for, he consecrated churches, so that's where it started. And he also instituted godparents at baptisms, which technically means he's the godfather of godfathers.
Oh, wow.
Actually is. But he did, so he was a famous one.
Pope Hygienist. Have you got any other favourites?
The other name is Hilarious.
Okay, what is it?
Well, that's it. It's hilarious. It's Pope Hilarious.
Pope Hilarious.
He was around in the 400s. There he is. That's him with his joke book. And he's the only pope to use a whoopee cushion on the papal throne.
Really?
He was.
You need to get him to write for you too.
I was going to say, we could use Pope Hilarious in here tonight, no doubt about that.
Pope Ilario.
So let's fast forward to this week. The conclave, it begins tomorrow. This is massive. There are some big names in the mix.
Yep. Cardinal Peter Odo.
Cardinal Joseph Tobin.
Cardinal Juan Jose Amela.
Cardinal Parolin, Cardinal Zuppi.
Luis Tagle.
Pier Battista Pizzaballa.
Can we just... I just want to pull you up on that last name.
Yes.
Cardinal Pizzaballa, Santo. Is he a real cardinal?
He is, actually. He's from a town called Bergamo, from a famous family, impeccable pedigree. His father was a pizzaballa. His mother was an arancini balla.
Is that right?
And he's also related to the famous mozzarella balla family.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he's actually been quoted, if I win, I choose the name Papa Giuseppe.
Oh.
And if I lose, I join Sushi Mango.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's sort of a win-win situation.
In terms of eligibility, though, there are some age limits.
All of the cardinals who are younger than 80 years old will be allowed to participate in the conclave.
I'll be honest, I'm a little distracted because her name is Roller Coaster. Joelle Roller Coaster. That is one of the great names.
I can't wait for them to speak to their next expert, Mary Go-Round.
Yeah.
She's actually married to Olaf Big Dipper.
Oh, really? Yeah. She went on to say that the next pope will have to be this high, so it's a nice touch. That's a nice touch.
It's good.
I got that.
Do we want to grab the needle?
No, don't grab the needle. Don't grab the needle. Yeah. So the conclave is this week.
Yeah.
Talk us through it. How does it work?
OK, now, to explain the process, I've brought in some footage from the last conclave in 2013.
When Pope Francis was elected?
Yes, that's the one. He won with 92 votes, which is more than what the Trumpet of Patriots got.
Oh, really?
So I reckon we should just run through the conclave now.
Please.
So they all begin, all the cardinals get together at St Peter's Basilica, where they all pray for God's help in electing the right candidate. Then they move off in a solemn procession to the Sistine Chapel, stopping briefly to receive their how to vote cards.
I love that.
And partake in the traditional sausage sizzle.
Okay,
So that's very nice.
Is that the papacy sausage?
Yes, it comes in beef, pork, or body of Christ.
Oh, it doesn't. It doesn't really.
It does.
So then what happens?
Well, then they proceed through to the Sistine Chapel. So that's been swept for listening devices. There, after removing their mobile phones and ankle bracelets, they take an ancient oath of secrecy. Promittimus et juramus secretum esse Deis omnibus, which is Latin for what happens in the Sistine Chapel stays in the Sistine Chapel.
And after they've sworn secrecy?
Then it's the business end of things.
Yes.
Anyone who's not a cardinal is ushered out of the room. As you can see there are nuns, priests, laymen, deacons, and of course the Scarlet Pimpernel. So he and those two Swiss guards were there for Comic Conclave.
Oh, really?
They were. And there you go. And then there's the big moment where they shut the doors. They shut the doors.
This is unbelievable. Yeah. So once the cardinals are inside, that's when the voting process begins. How does that work?
Well, this year there's 133 cardinals, so a two-thirds majority, that's 89 votes. First candidate to get 89 votes. We start with a vote on Wednesday morning. That's night our time. If that's inconclusive, they burn those votes, black smoke. Then the following morning, they have two more votes, and in the afternoon, if that's inconclusive, another two. And if still no result, the conclave is dissolved and replaced by a tribal council convened by Cardinal La Paglia, yeah.
Incredible.
And that's where they immediately start a process of elimination. So that's... Yep.
Hope they have their immunity holy water.
Extinguish your torches. Well, actually, we do have the ballot paper for the cardinals there. There it is there.
Yeah.
You've got a number 1 through to about 133.
Oh, wow.
It's a long form.
Yeah.
It's a long form. There we go there.
Is that, I can see that Napoli sauce bottle.
Oh, yes.
is in amongst it.
All right, so that is the conclave process. But who do you think is the front runner to be the next pope?
Well, to be honest, my opinion, we haven't had an Italian pope for about 50 years, so I think it comes down to the local candidates. I think it'll be close between Parolin, Zuppi, and Pizzaballa. But my guts tells me that Pizzaballa will win by an anchovy.
Okay.
I think we just get it. But don't take my word for it. Let's check out the odds according to the official Vatican bookmakers Pope Bet.
Yes, okay, let's have a look at Pope Bet.
Okay,
There we go. Pietro Parolin is at 3-1. Of course, Matteo Zuppi at 5-1. Pier Battista Pizzabella 6-1. And there's been a late surge on Australia's representative, Junior Cardinal Robert Earl.
Oh, really?
So, yes.
Wow.
That's amazing. Well, he's an outside chance. I tell you, if he wins, khaki smoke.
That'd be nice.
That would be beautiful.
And always remember, you win some, you lose faith.
Thank you for running us through the conclave on that note. We've got to take a break. Would you please thank Santo Cilauro?